Hello, in this video today I will be talking about the Texas Education Standards, and I would like to focus on standard number 3 today, which specifically talks about content knowledge and expertise. It states teachers exhibit a comprehensive understanding of their content, discipline, and related pedagogy as demonstrated through the quality of design and execution of lessons and their ability to match objectives and activities to relevant standards. I thought this was a excellent top standard because this is the one I've probably been learning about most, I think, so far. I like to focus on section B today, which states teachers design and execute quality lessons that are consistent with concepts of the specific discipline and are aligned to state standards and demonstrate their content expertise. Section 1 of or subsection 1 of B is teachers organize curriculum to facilitate student understanding of their subject matter. So for this, it's obviously relates to following the TEKS, but coming into it, there's a lot of resources out there I did not know, and I've grown a lot in understanding just what kind of resources are out there to understand the TEKS. So one of the ones that they use here in Bullard Middle School is called the Instructional Focus Document, or it's also called the TEKS Resource, and it helps us keep in line our TEKS. For history specifically, we have the most TEKS out of all middle school subjects, which makes it kind of challenging because we have the most content to cover. We have historical TEKS, but we also have, which you can just follow in chronological order, so that's kind of easy, but you also have to throw in political, economical, geographical, or social TEKS along with the historical. And so the TEKS resources helps us give us a game plan. It helps us understand what would be the best sequence to arrange these TEKS and to follow through with them throughout the school year, And this is just one resource we use. I know there are also some others as well that I have not necessarily seen, but I didn't even know that any of these resources even existed. And so I've definitely grown a lot and seeing how this IFD works. The cool thing about the IFD is it also has like a section before each unit you could use. It gives you things like students may have trouble understanding this, which is also helpful when I'm going to the second point of B, which says teachers understand, actively anticipate, and adapt instruction to address common misunderstandings and preconception. So you could use the IFD as well to get an understanding of what misunderstandings might come even before the lesson begins. Also, this just comes with experience collaborating with other teachers. Since I'm a new teacher or a clinical teacher, I don't necessarily know what students might misunderstand, but working with my cooperating teacher and the other teachers here at the school, I've already began to understand what a lot of misunderstandings are ahead of time just from their experience, but also that's available in resources as well. And I think the thing I've grown most in is this third point of section B, which says teachers promote literacy in the academic language within the discipline and makes discipline-specific language accessible to all learners. This is incredibly important, especially when you're going into a whole new subject, because there's so much academic language to cover, so many terms that they don't necessarily use in their everyday language, but they need to know for this content. And I know each subject has their own content, academic language, and history has plenty of words to cover as well. And I've seen a lot of growth in just how to do this. For my artifact, I would like to show how we cover vocabulary in this class. So what we do is we have interactive notebooks, which is online, and here I printed out a printed copy of what a vocabulary matrix looks like. This would normally be digital, and they would go in and enter this information into an online digital notebook. But this is my artifact, and I would like to justify why I picked this artifact. I picked this artifact because it demonstrates how I've grown in understanding the importance of vocabulary and promoting academic language within the classroom. So with this, you go along, and as we teach every single day, if we uncover new vocabulary, you go in and you can write it into this matrix. And the cool thing about this matrix is going beyond what I would have just said, write it down, but we also require them to get an image, so then there's a visual that goes along with it. Also, you have to categorize it in our PEG chart, which is political, economical, geographical, social. So to tell what does this person or term or place fall under which category. So that gets them thinking, okay, this is what this means, this is what it looks like, I can visualize it in my head, and then I can understand this is a Plymouth, so this is a political, it goes under political because it's a city founded by a country. And so this isn't the only thing. This is how we start off understanding our vocabulary. Then when we see vocabulary in activities, we try to highlight it, underline it. We always go back over it. Whenever we see vocabulary word, I as a teacher send out a question, hey, what's this? And then I can call on the student to answer. And so this is how promoting literacy in academic languages I found very important, and I've grown a lot in understanding and ways to challenge students to learn, understand and learn vocabulary. You know, even after doing this, sometimes they still get confused after I question them, and then I can understand that they need some reteaching. So I can go back and reteach if they do not necessarily understand the vocabulary. Also with our vocabulary, we can also play games, have fun activities such as this. This is a LER card. They have people or events on them. And what they can do is we can play games like we give them all the card and they have to try to summarize information the best they can, form in a line in chronological order. It's called the human timeline, and say what their event or person did and why it's important. You can use this ahead of time with events you haven't even talked about. It's a great way for them to kind of see what's coming up. So in conclusion, I learned I've seen a lot of growth in understanding how to going back to be design and execute quality lessons. So executing lessons that need to go in the order they need to go in, and reviewing specific languages, such the language of the classroom, understanding the vocabulary, understanding the terms, the concepts, reinforcing them and bringing them back up through questioning, through reteaching whenever possible, and being able to adapt misunderstandings, understanding what those misunderstandings are. You can do that by questioning your first period, and if they don't understand something, you can go back and reteach it throughout the rest of the day. Change from how you treat first to second period. I've had to do that a few times. And so also just expecting misunderstandings to begin with. This can be done by just research or talking with other experts out there. So that's just a few things I've learned on this topic of Standard 3. I've really enjoyed learning about how to better my content understanding and knowledge in the classroom and helping it become more accessible to the students. And so I will close off with that.